welcome to the third episode of The First Record. If you are not familiar with the games, I left an explanation video in the description about how this game works. For now, I'm using this first season as kind of fine-tuning how to do this. I'm getting to learn about how this whole process works with sound and light, so cut me some slack here. But for now, my next guest is Imro Sellink. Imro Sellink is a sound engineer by profession, and he is also a musician, best known as being the drummer for a band called FLWR. This guy has a lot of interesting stuff to tell from a technical point of view, lots of laughs, lots of insights. I just want to introduce you to this personal friend of mine. Let's go. Imro.
Yes.
My guy, my friend. It's so nice to have you on the program. We are friends. Okay.
So I had a Facebook memory the other day that you and I have been Facebook friends for 10 years.
Over a decade now.
Yeah. I think we've gotten close friends like 2 or 3 years ago, but
something like that. Yeah.
I'm going to count full 10 of them. But it was my first tour, and I do this because we didn't arrange anything. But so one thing we didn't arrange was a place to sleep. And then some guy thought, hey, I think we're close to Harvey's place. Let's hit him up.
And here we were.
And like the person you are, if somebody tells that, hey, we need a place to sleep, you give him a place to sleep.
Much obliged, yeah. It will never be comfortable, but it will be a place to sleep.
I had the best time, but there's a way bigger story with the fire alarm going on. I don't need to tell you it.
Yeah.
You know it, but
we'll save it for the
if we got some time, we're probably going to tell our friends later on.
Cool. So the first thing I'm going to establish some context here. It is the 14th of September.
Correct.
We are going, I think it's been a long evening for you last night, and it's going to be an even longer evening that we're going towards.
I'm not sure yet, but
most likely.
Yesterday was fun.
Yesterday was fun. But anyway, shout out to Bar 3 crew.
Oh, yeah.
Under the most simple of circumstances, I brought only my banner and only my question cards, and so it's a very easy, simple setup.
We live like 2 hours apart, so this is on the fly.
This is on the fly, very much on the fly. So, but anyway, before we're going to start, I would like to ask you, so what's your affiliation with art?
Well, mainly music. I have been I'm going to do this again, musician since I was like 17. I think like a lot of people started out with me and my best friend at the time, like, hey, let's start a band. Oh yeah, good idea. Do you play an instrument? No. And I think at first I wanted to be a bass player, but it turned out differently than that. Which was great. So there were no bass teachers in my area.
Yeah.
But a lot of guitar teachers. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just start on guitar, and then I'll like gradually move to bass because there are no teachers around. And I never even got a teacher for guitar anyway, so argument invalid. And I'm a drummer now, so
okay.
Yeah, I think I've tried a bit of everything, and I think drumming stuck to me because it's to me the most fun and the most like there aren't a lot of drummers around. We've been in a band together. I live 2 hours away. It's just because I was probably the only guy you still knew that could play the drums and wanted to.
Yeah, the closest option.
The closest option is 2 hours away. So that's that was when I was 17, and my profession nowadays is a sound engineer.
Mm-hmm.
So I run sound for a couple of bands. You know, some of them. A whole bunch of stuff. I try to mainly focus on music, but like it's a bigger thing than that, like music work and stuff, whatever. So yeah, I kind of made sure to like revolve my life around music.
So when you say corporate, like it overlaps, but your
like
daily
I've worked
work.
with these before.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just some guy doing a podcast. It was like the highest chief of whatever company, and there was a lot of money involved and had to be perfect.
But this means that your work overlaps as things you like personally, and also things that are just plain.
Like, it is me performing my job as a sound engineer because there's a microphone involved and that needs to come out of the speaker or needs to be recorded or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no music involved. But I try to like mainly solely work with all around music.
Okay, and you did a study for this?
Yeah, I did. It was a 4-year study. I think I graduated like 8 years ago. It was like a stepping stool into the industry.
Yeah.
But it's a very you live and you learn kind of thing. I think I can scratch.
Sure.
So you live and you learn. Like you learn in the field and not quite in school. So there's like some theory I know, which is a handy tool, but like you learn by doing it.
You also have to gather contacts and make a name for yourself to get the ball rolling.
Essentially, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a well-known fact that, especially in like there is money going around in the music industry, but like at the level I'm at, to be fair, like the bands don't really have a lot of money to spare.
Mm-hmm.
So like they play shows for whatever amount of money, but they also make their expenses. Like they need to drive their car there, they need to have their gear, which needs to be top notch, and they have practice sessions. But like when they record their music and put it out on their platforms, like all of that costs money, but none of it actually like brings in a lot of money. Like some money, but usually not a lot of money. So it's a big step for a band to be calling me like, hey, can you do our live sound? And for me then to actually pay me like a proper amount that I can like pay my rent with.
Yeah, it already sets a bar when it comes to local bands.
Yeah, not a lot of local bands. I don't work for a lot of local bands.
Yeah. So for a business point of view, would it be better for a festival or a concert hall to hire you rather than a band?
Do corporate because they're just spending money.
Yeah. For them, it's just part of the budget and whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good intro. I'm just gonna start on the fly.
Yeah.
Let's go for the first one. Just to be sure, I'm giving you two I'm asking you cards.
Yeah.
For you to give back if you're interested in the same question.
I wonder if I'll use these because we've known each other for a decade.
For a decade, yeah.
I think, and I've seen the first 2 episodes as well, so some of the questions might be overlapping. I think I'll know your answer to a lot of these.
But we'll see.
But you could be surprising as well, so we'll see.
I hope to be surprising.
Remind me I've got it, because we're out of sight now.
Very first time in the show, the first card is number 1. That's a 1 in 60.
I like structure.
Probability. Yeah, you did.
The next one's going to be number 2. I haven't told you about that yet.
I hope not. No,
I shuffled them.
You pulled them blind. Number 1, tell me about your very first memories of music. Did you grow up in a musical environment?
Oh.
Wait. Did your parents have a strong musical taste, or did you have to discover music more on your own?
I love that I'm getting this question because I was going to tell you about this.
Yeah.
My very first memory of music is my mom's old pickup, which I own by the way. My mom passed away. I inherited from her. It's at my house.
Yeah.
As well as her record collection, plus my record collection going hand in hand. So the second part of the question was if music was a big part, in growing up. No.
And was it something that your parents passed on to you? You had to discover it by yourself.
There's no music in my family whatsoever.
But she did own a record player, so there was for her there was some connection.
I mean, both my parents are just casual listeners of music. I think. I think the radio was always on. So my very first fond memory of music is grabbing just a record from the camera and putting it on the record player.
Yeah.
I think the one I did most was Michael Jackson's Bad.
Oh wow!
And I own that because we never threw it away, obviously. But not only I enjoy taking the vinyl and putting the needle up and
the ritual
stuff,
yeah.
I was also super fascinated by if you turn the volume knob way down and have your ear next to the needle, it's still kind of here.
Yeah. Because of
to be at a point where I now physically understand how that works.
Vibrations.
Yeah. Well, because it is my job and I've got that theory in me. So that was my first connection with both music and the technical part behind music.
So
Go
indirectly,
hand in hand
so
in my life.
indirectly, your mother did influence, but in more around not directly, but more indirectly.
Like I think if the record player wasn't around, things might have gone way differently.
Yeah,
We will never know.
we will never know. So with that, like, if the question is like, did you have to prepare yourself? Like, do you remember the first steps, or was it friends or siblings, or did you see something somewhere? Like, what? Well, when was it love at first sight with music? What really struck you for the first time?
That is a tough question. I don't think I can answer that. Like I said, so I told you the record story.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
good connection. You can use that.
Yeah.
Just send me the money. So that what this was. I was. Well, I should have been tall enough to reach the record player, which was, I guess, maybe like a meter above ground. I don't know.
Yeah.
The records were low though, so I could reach them. So that's like the first memory, and then I think, let's call it the second one, is me and my best friend I talked about in the intro, wanting to start a band without playing any instruments.
Mm-hmm.
So I just bought it. I bought a guitar for $20 off a guy I knew from the skate park, and I just started practicing. And I don't know, that took off from there.
There's actually a question I wanted to ask somebody else because most punk bands that start early start with kids that never played instruments to begin with. I had a conversation with the bassist from the Labor Jeopardization, I think 10 years ago, and he said that the first half year when we were in band, I didn't even know you were supposed to tune the guitars. So every time I came in, I noticed that my bass was sounding different, and I was just looking.
It's very punk rock.
I was just looking for the tunes on my fretboard where they were starting this time until somebody was it better than
you could be having a good day where your bass would be tuned off a full semitone. You just grab a different fret.
Yeah, like the Dutch.
Those were the good ones.
Like what the Dutch saying that even a broken clock hits twice a day. Yeah. Yeah, something like that actually. Yeah.
I mean, you live and you learn.
But was it that hardcore with your first band, or was it a little bit more structured?
I'd say it was a bit more structured than that. I don't have any memories of me not knowing how to tune a guitar, so I think I knew that straight away. But I started when I was 17, so it wasn't like this skater kid who just did whatever. Well, I wasn't mature at all, but
none of us were at 17.
We going way back now. No, I think we had a pretty good school drummer, so I think he provided quite a lot of structure. But it was mainly just that friend I mentioned who had a bunch of lyric lying around, and I figured out what a power chord was rather soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, I couldn't even pin you what genre it was. Rock, punkish maybe. I don't know.
We used the distortion.
Yes, I had this €10 Behringer.
Oh yeah,
it was a tube overdrive, but I didn't know the difference between an overdrive and a distortion, so I just cranked it up. I was like, yes, this sounds good.
Rockish. Yeah. All us
gradually went up from that as well.
All us suburban kids, before we were serious enough for our parents, and we had our measly allowance, grew up with the Behringer pedals.
I think it was literally €10.
Something like that. I think
you couldn't even get a bread for that money nowadays.
No, not at all. And they still have that.
I think I still have it as well.
Yeah, but they still have that line, but now it's €30 for something, but they still make those cheap fucking pedals. Yeah. I think they're doing it for 40 years or something.
But the awesome thing is that cheap gear can be really good nowadays.
Yeah. It's also when I talked to Marlon, the previous guitar player for the Traveling Psychord, he's a little bit older than I am, and he told me that he's so annoyed about when they went for their first album, before you had the presets and the plugins and then the first laptop.
Oh, that's me. I'm just kidding.
No, but
I've met him once, but he's a cool dude.
He is a cool dude for sure. But I let him listen to the Hearted album, and he let me listen to his first album, and he asked how much it costed. I think it was like a little bit above 1,000, and he said like they had to pay like 20,000 for the album, and it didn't sound really. But the plugins.
I'm gonna one up you on that because me and my band Wallflower, we have this DIY approach.
Yeah,
and you can do everything just on your laptop.
These days, in
your bedroom.
Yeah,
we don't spend a single buck on it.
That's great.
You can go listen to our music. No money went into that. Well, obviously, like I had to drive to Jan's house to like really, to work on like the mix and whatever. But
that's the wonderful thing of these days, how easy things.
And I mean, the MacBook wasn't free, but like we already have it. And we need it for other stuff. No, should we do question number 2?
Yeah, sorry, we're just
5 hour.
I'm very sorry. Please.
Is it number 2 though?
Who is this is number 54, so no. Who is your favorite author?
Author?
Yeah.
Like a writer?
Yeah.
So it needs to be like a book?
It could be also like a comic book or maybe a script or anybody who writes.
Yeah, so I'm not very much a reader. But I will say that my favorite band out there is the Wonders, representing right now. Mm-hmm. And one thing in particular I love about them is their lyrics. So I guess I could say Dan Campbell, or Soupy as he goes.
And why?
Just because his lyrics, they always like hit home so well. And I've got one of them even tattooed on my arm, like it goes that far.
And which one is it?
This one is from Cigarettes and Saints. It says, "I'm sure they're in the heaven, but that don't mean I don't like to picture you there. If you want the full story, this is going to be a 5-hour podcast."
Okay. Is there any other, because I can understand because of the subject, but is there any other, while we're on the subject, any other lyric that really struck you, and can you explain why?
There's a bunch. If we're going to stick to the Wonders for this question now, one of the best lyrics is in Passing Through a Screen Door. Actually, the entire bridge is like, "Jesus Christ, I'm 26. All the people I graduated with, I'll have kids, I'll have wives, I'll have people who care if they come home at night. Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah, fuck up." You can just feel what he was going through, but I'm not just like speaking out the words, but just like imagine him singing them, and I think you are familiar with the work a bit.
Yeah.
It's just emotion encapsulated in words.
And what does it mean to you? Like, what does that tell you?
I'm just amazed or fascinated. I don't know. Just like, I'm not a good lyric writer myself, so I'm also maybe it's a bit of envy even. Just to be able to put into words what you are feeling and making the one listening to those words maybe like feel the same or like have their own reflection of those feelings.
Yeah.
That's the one I've got tattooed on my arm. It's the full throwback to my mother.
Sure. Cool. Okay.
So not really an author, but I love a good song lyric, and I can name you 1,000. Maybe 6-hour podcast if we do.
Yeah, for sure. I said it before, it's a game within games, but it's cool that you actually go for somebody who writes songs.
Yeah.
I would
also a shout out to a band called REFRENCE from Chicago. Mm-hmm. I think it's their bass player Kyle who writes their lyrics, and he also has like a poetry book which is listed on their website, like with the merch.
Yeah.
So I just bought that. So maybe when people are watching this, I'm into reading something.
Yeah. They're cool. I'm putting links underneath the thing we're talking about. So I'll put the link in for the lyric.
Oh, we'll make sure we put a bunch in there.
Cool. Number 3, record question. Nice. Only one more to go.
Oh yeah, this was a game element.
This has the game element. Record question. What record have you turned on, tussen haakjes, rebought the most in your entire life? There's one record that you listen to the most.
I do not own many records. I have some vinyls. Like I buy vinyls of the artists I like the most. But I must enter. We're gonna talk about the Wonders a lot. because this lyric, that song, that album, every now and again I'll just turn it on and it's gonna go to the end, and I might go back to the start.
It's the comfort zone record.
Yeah, well, in a way, it's so good.
Yeah, I had it with Freek too, and we talked about it because he said, and I agree with him,
Self-Titled Blink?
Self-Titled Blink, and we agreed that some...
So I kind of skipped, like, I appreciate Blink, but I'm not that deep into it like you are and Freek is.
No, for sure.
And I talked with Melissa about this yesterday as well. She said, I saw the podcast and self-titled.
Yeah.
Like,
No, fair enough. But the thing was, it was not as much about the Untitled, but what I meant is that some records I could listen to it forever, and it's more a mood than a record at one point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
I get what you mean. There are quite a few records. I listen to records. I'm not much of a shuffle guy when it comes to Spotify or whatever. I appreciate the art form. Like the artist puts in like thought and effort to tell like their full story. Like we had the author question earlier. I guess like a music album is a story in itself. Like you're not gonna open a book in the middle and say, like, who's John? And then go back to like find out. No, you start on page 1.
That's a good point, actually.
I think it was due to Adele that Spotify changed their play button on albums, because previously if you like look up an album on Spotify and you hit play, it would automatically shuffle, which was insane to me. So I had to press like the first song and make sure shuffle
and
was
then
on. Then it would go in order.
Yeah.
And I think Adele like reached out to Spotify like, yo guys, I put them in a certain order for a reason. Change the button.
And they did. Says a lot about how good you're doing if Spotify.
I think Adele has some reason, yes.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. Or else. 38. Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley, or Little Richard?
This question, I think it's the third time it's on this show. Well, I've seen the first two. The others
I know Thomas had it. I don't know if... Freek had it too. Yeah, true.
I must admit, I do not know who Little Richard is. So for me, it's either Johnny Cash or Elvis Presley.
You know, Tutti Frutti or...
Oh, okay. I always thought the lyric was Tutti Frutti Uncle Rudy, because my uncle's called Rudy.
It could be, I don't know.
It isn't.
I don't know. You Googled it.
Yeah, but a cover band I worked for once, I told them this story because I did it in soundcheck, and then the singer decided to sing the lyric I thought it was. I gotta say Johnny Cash. I've never really gotten into Elvis that much.
But you didn't into Johnny Cash?
A bit more than I did into Elvis. Like neither of them. Like they're kind of like the same level, but I think I know more Johnny Cash than I know Elvis.
And is there?
I think we covered a Johnny Cash song once actually.
No, we covered
the Misfits song that covered a Johnny Cash.
No, it wasn't. It was he's called The Killer.
Great Balls of Fire?
Yeah, but that's not Johnny Cash. No. It's
oh no, he has the Ring of Fire.
It's not John. It's not John Lee Hooker. Kevin is gonna scream at the screen right now when I.
Alright, so let's take like 10 minutes to figure this out then.
He did.
Agonize.
They used to call him the last man standing because he died like I think a year ago, and he was the last one of that generation.
I could yell out names, and Kevin's gonna hate me.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Sure.
He married his 13-year-old cousin.
Okay.
When he was, but that's a whole different story.
That's very Alabama of him.
But that's very Alabama of him. But do you like songs from that song period, or is that very scarce?
I think I own like at least a Elvis record, maybe 2. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
I think I've got like a greatest hits collection or whatever. I don't own Johnny Cash, so I might need to change my answer though.
But
I remember working with a Johnny Cash tribute band. It was like, damn, this guy had some really good songs.
He did, yeah. Pretty dark, too.
And they did like certain eras, because that was, I think it was this Johnny Cash concert in, what's that prison again?
St. Quentin.
Yes. I think there's another one as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that wasn't the prison, but...
He did.
I know, but they did their full concerts, like, they just watched the footage.
He did Folsom Prison and St. Quentin.
That's what I was thinking of. But both is a correct answer.
Cool.
So, I don't know, I'll go with Johnny Cash for the question.
Fair enough.
And I'm gonna look up Little Richard.
It's actually a very interesting case because Little Richard was he was famous in the 50s and the 60s, and he was black.
Oh yeah, I wasn't around for that much.
And gay and Christian, yeah. But
that's living life on max difficult.
I would say, yeah, I think you.
Although being a Christian in the 50s got alright.
In the south of America during that time.
Used to be a Christian.
Yeah, but rather not black and gay during that time, so he had a hard time. But hey, what would you rather choose, going deaf or blind?
Oh, blind for sure.
Finally somebody who agrees with me. Yeah, I agree.
You go blind?
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally I need my ears to do my job.
Yeah. Yeah. For you, of course, it's a matter of life and death.
Actually, you could chop both my legs off, and I could still be able to mix. I'd probably go more studio than live, but
yeah.
No.
But it's still going to be annoying if you're not able to see.
Oh, I'd love to keep them both, but that's not the question.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Fair enough.
Although it's most likely to go deaf than to go blind, because I'm exposed to loud noises a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. If you would be deaf and we would just put on the brown note or just a very constant hard note, you're fucked. You can't do anything anymore because then you're stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never even thought about that, but
I'm gonna keep your ears.
I agree with you. Which has been the biggest disappointment in your art? Could be the worst gig, the most difficult client ever, the most disappointing situation ever.
In my art, it says, because I was straight thinking towards my professional life,
mm-hmm.
which would be the biggest disappointment. Or do I still need to answer if I give you this, or?
Yeah, you do.
I'm curious about your answer. Maybe your answer is going to inspire me too. I can't think of anything at this point.
For the sake of keeping the honor with ourselves, I'm not going to name the individual.
Okay.
But
Not on camera.
Not on camera.
No.
But there's an individual that comes to mind that I walked into while performing my art that disappointed me.
Okay.
Big time. I'm
super curious.
I think we both know this individual.
I think I've got a hunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one of the
do it on
things.
camera.
This is one of the things that I think of, but I think I would rather go for quick story. I think we talked about her last time with Freek, but there's this friend that I had called Puppy.
Yeah, I'm familiar with.
She was
her legacy.
Her legacy, yeah. Well, she was the generation of our of our parents.
Fun fact: the festival we're going after this
has her own stage.
I work for a band. The stage is called Poppy's Playground.
Yeah.
That's how big her legacy is.
That's how big her legacy is. And she, there was this, how do you say, jeugdherberg, or it was a venue for kids, for kids of the area, and we were allowed to play there. And basically, she was leading us there. And I remember that 2 bands were playing, and the last band was done. And there was a few kids coming up to me saying, "Hey, you are familiar with Poppy, right?" Yeah. Can you ask if we can play a few songs just out of nowhere? Because we really want to play the stage. We're not from around here. Can you ask if we? And she talked with whoever was running the place, and they were granted to play 3 songs. And they fucking started playing Nazi songs.
Oh.
And started to go seek hell and everything. And it wasn't as much, that was a dick move, but that destroyed her.
And that surpasses the term art form.
Yeah, sure, but it was such a multi-layered dick situation because it was such a nice evening and it was so cool of her to do a good work, and I didn't care about what they did themselves because nobody cares, but it really hurt her at that moment, and that and in extension that hurt all of us basically.
Yeah, obviously.
Now you.
I haven't encountered anything like that in my life.
No asshole customer when you were working?
Yeah, a bunch. But I'm also not gonna name names, but I was working for someone, and just to kind of not go into detail too much, we got into a talk about money, an argument, I'm not even going to name the numbers, but we were way off between like what I thought I should have been invoicing and what he claimed that we'd agreed upon.
Yeah.
I think I've worked with a bunch of like narcissists before. Like those are just general disappointments in life for me. Although they did teach me the valuable lesson of, like, once I recognize a bit of narcissism in a person, I've got one rule, which is run.
Yeah. Also professionally? Like, would you say no to a certain job if somebody's too narcissistic when you guys start talking?
Difficult to say, because I don't think that would really happen. But like, I would never like really work for one person. Like, there's always so many people involved. Like, if there's one narcissist around, and I know this, I'll probably like on a professional level just keep it light and just whatever, and then
there's more people to communicate with.
At the end of the day, I don't care who's on this page and who they are and what they think. Like, there's like 100 or 1,000 or how many people around me who bought a ticket to see a show. So I got to make sure that they go home happy. Like, they got to be glad they spent that money to do what they did. Like,
so do you focus on the people who are watching the concert?
That's very much a lesson I learned in mixing sound. I'm not mixing for me, I'm mixing for all the other people around me.
I like that.
Like, maybe I would like a loud kick drum, but it's jazz. These people don't want it.
Yeah.
No, whatever.
But that's very interesting. Like, do you also read in to certain situations?
Totally, yeah. So the jazz example I just gave you is one. The jazz crowd, usually like a bit older people, it's usually like it's called Jazz Club, the production I work. I think it's like once a month. People come there on a Sunday afternoon to like sit down, have a beer, usually like with their partner or with whoever, and they just want to listen to this jazz or whatever's happening. That's not a time where I'm gonna like make everything super loud, because nobody wants that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, to me, I'm like, I would wish to go louder because I will know it will gonna sound like better, because I'm gonna have a bit more impact or whatever. But there's, let's say, 60 people here who bought a ticket to do this, to go see this, who don't want it loud like that.
Yeah.
Another band I work for, they wanted the lead vocal to be super, super loud in the mix. Well, that's like, this is an example for the other way around. Like, everybody would say, "Yo, that vocal's too loud, man, take the vocal down." I'm like, this is what they want.
Yeah.
Because I'm working for them, but I'm working for you. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
It's the same word. I thought I'd use a different word. I didn't. I know.
No, but with a band, like, I can understand.
I'm the link. Like, they have an ID, the band have an ID and a vision, and I'm like, I'm literally amplifying what they do.
Literally, you provide that for them.
So if they want a loud vocal, I'll give them a loud vocal. But if everybody around me says the vocal's too loud, then maybe there's an in-between.
Listen, that's something that...
We're talking 10 years ago with this example.
No, I get it, but I mean, did they learn that in the education, or is that something that you develop on your own, like this reading?
No, that's the creative aspect of running sound. Like, there's physics involved, because sound is nothing more than moving air. Like, I could talk about molecules, which are involved in the process of sound. This is going to be a 10-hour podcast.
But in a nutshell?
So in a nutshell, like, I have this theory, and like, there's physics involved, and it helps to understand why certain things are happening because of physics. Like, an example I had with, you've had Fake here before, the band Reformist, I run sound for them. We played a stage where the wind was blowing towards the stage, but it was a very, very hard wind. So the sound literally got blown back.
So you have to work with that.
A lot of people would like, sound can like be blown away.
Yes, absolutely.
The wind took the sound away.
Yeah.
Because I'm having like speakers, which is just a piece of paper trying to move air towards me, but there's wind trying to move that air away from me. Just knowing that I had to push quite hard to address the people with the sound I wanted to. But if the wind would go to lay down, so would the volume.
Yeah.
So I really had to compact my mix by using a bunch of compression just to reduce that effect. And I really had to be on point with if the wind was going to lay down, I immediately turn it down, not to deafen people.
Yeah.
Another day I had where the wind was going to the right. So I was mixing and I literally the PA just dropped out. It was just a hard wind blowing it the other way.
Wow.
So knowing that sound is just air moving is one of the things you need to know to adapt to that.
But you also need work through situations where you're being challenged like that for the first time and you learn what to do actually. Right? I mean, van schade en schande worden we wijzer in this situation.
You need to subtitle.
I will subtitle it. I will absolutely subtitle it.
Yeah, no, totally. I think I've said you live and you learn quite a lot already.
Yeah.
Because, that's actually the fun fact. I told you about this festival with Reformist. I worked at that festival just for the festival the year prior, and I had the same issue. So I told the guys, hey guys, turn the stage around next year. Just have the wind work in your favor. But the wind's gonna turn next year probably.
And this is where God was
the very first time it happened, which I think 2 years ago, I really thought just the PA had gone out. I a power outage, but then it went up. What happened?
Yeah.
Then it happened again, and then started thinking, what is happening? And quickly came to the conclusion because there was a flag post, and the flag was just going crazy mad towards the stage. I think it just might be the wind. And then you got to start paying attention, and then you notice the sound dropping out again, and you see the flag going a bit harder. All right, probably it. And then next year you're there with a band, you're oh, same issue. Okay.
Sounds like something would happen in a movie that the specialist comes in and it checks all the little things. You have no idea what he's doing, and it makes sense to the specialist only. And like the Sherlock Holmes treatment.
Yeah, freaking Sherlock straight away.
Yeah. He pulls out a sock and moves the sock, and nobody knows why he's doing it, and he's getting information on what he's doing.
The art of the touch. That's the best thing about this movie. Him explaining how he got to the conclusion he got to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Even the Disney version that was super basic already had that element in it. Never seen that?
No, I've seen the one with Benedict Cumberbatch. I really like that one. But it wasn't a movie, it was a series, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that the one with where Lucy Lewis is Watson, or is that another one?
No, it's Martin.
Yeah, okay.
Look him up, I'm not sure if that's his name.
I'll look it up and put it in the comments.
Yeah, Sherlock, probably on Netflix.
We're here. This is one question already, I think, at least 10 minutes further down the road. Who or what has been the biggest inspiration in your art in general? Wonder Years?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I do tend to listen to more than just the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
And I think, so the fun thing is, with my band Wallflower, I think we've heard them all. When I introduce people to our music, hey, listen, it kind of reminds me of. And let's list a couple of bands. I've heard Alton Road, Fall Out Boy, Blink, Green Day, Taking Back Sunday. Go on, because there are plenty.
The story so far.
Yes, I've heard that one before. Go on. I've heard Bowling for Soup even.
Yeah.
Alkaline Trio.
Day to Remember?
Yes, we had that. Yeah, for one of our heavier songs.
Yeah.
Go on.
I had it with the Hearted. I had it with the Hearted too. That I was and after about 2 years later, that's the one I didn't hear. Thank you.
Yeah, Yellow Card, by the way, I heard that one before as well.
Yeah.
So, and I really like the fact we probably, or I don't think if we try to, but I think we kind of represent that early 2000s glory era of pop punk.
Yeah.
And we just take bits of everything and just blend it together.
Frankenstein it into something good.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then put some modern stuff in there. And there's one I haven't heard yet. If you were to ask anyone in my band, they would, should I name the band or are we going to make a game out of this? Now, there's one band that influenced our music a lot, which is the 1975. You can bleep it out and still do the game.
Okay,
Nobody ever mentioned the 1975 before, which to me just blows my mind. Because it's so obvious.
To be honest, the only thing I know about them is that they were in that foreign festival and it's them, right? And the two guys kissed and
Malaysia.
Malaysia. Yeah. That's the only thing I know about them. I didn't even have the chance yet to listen to them.
Oh, you should. They're the best live band out there, I think.
In general?
Coming from somebody who loves the One Year so much.
but you would say 1975 is best live?
I think that is the best concert I've ever been to, yes.
Cool.
Yeah, they're so good.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna make a big pace because we're already answering questions that I still have to ask, so but it's cool. Is political expression important in art, in your opinion?
Not for me personally.
Okay. And why not? Or is there no why?
I personally don't care about politics too much.
Okay.
But then, like, if I may say something about the 1 year.
Whatever you want.
I went to see them in the US, actually, and a couple of times, because I'm not going to fly over there for one show. It was like 5, 6. And their lead singer would wear a Free Palestine cap and would end the show with, "I've got 2 things to say." And the first thing was, "Now more than ever, we need to protect trans youth."
Yeah.
And the second was, and I say this with my whole fucking chest, Free Palestine. And I mean, if he wants to make those statements, he has a stage to, like, send out his beliefs or whatever.
And you think there's beauty in that, or?
You do you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if we want to talk politics. I agree, we need to free Palestine, but you know, I'm like, I don't have a stage to.
Yeah.
Like I could yell on a stage, but nobody would listen. So.
Well, you're sitting on one right now.
Oh yeah, free Palestine.
I don't want to. It's more about if you.
And I know I didn't just fix the word just now, so you know.
No, but I mean, it's an expression of what you stand for and what you are. Okay.
No, politics is not a big part in my art. To answer the question shortly. I like this space. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. You don't like to dwell on too long.
Well, we could dwell on too long, but then it's going to be a 14-hour podcast.
I don't care. I really don't care. Prince, David Bowie, or Michael Jackson?
I do not want to pick because I love all of them, but I think I gotta go with Michael Jackson just because of the story I told earlier. It was the first record
because of the nostalgia.
Because of the nostalgia, his bad record is the one I put on repeat.
Okay.
A lot.
I'll put on a good pace, but you say you love all 3.
Yes.
Can you say in short why individually? What do you like about Prince? What do you like about David Bowie? What do you like about Michael Jackson?
The thing I like about David Bowie is that it's like more than just music. It's like theatrical.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, I'm younger than that, but he was kind of like groundbreaking. I think like the thing he did wasn't quite been done before when he did it.
Mm-hmm. Applies to all 3 of them, but
yeah, I'm gonna copy paste it to Prince as well, indeed.
But to be honest, he would be the first from the 3 that started out. Yeah.
All right.
So that
I would have to Google that, but I'm gonna take your word for it.
Gives him precedence, one could say.
Yeah, right, Prince. Well, maybe it's a fun anecdote about Prince. I watch the Super Bowl. I try to watch the Super Bowl every year because I love to see the halftime show.
Yeah.
Not just for the music, but the whole technical aspect of it. So it's America in a nutshell,
basically.
And don't know if people know this, but the Super Bowl is never like live music. It's always like a tape, and then the vocal is live.
Yeah.
Prince was, I think, the first, and at this point, I'm not sure, but I think only exception to having not just the vocal as a live thing, but his guitar as well.
Yeah.
I mean, hi, I'm Prince. I play guitar live in the halftime show.
Yeah, he was badass though.
I mean, you've achieved something if that's a fact about you.
For sure. I didn't even know that, and I know a lot about Prince, but it sounds absolutely like Prince.
Yeah.
He was also the one who said, we're going to show them who the Ticketmaster is. I demand that everybody doesn't pay more than $20 for my concert or I'm not showing up. And he just totally, he bitched down Ticketmaster until he died. Yeah. Such a cool dude. But okay.
But all of them have been like revolutionary, I think, in a way. And they all made an impact on modern day music through the thing they did.
Absolutely.
I mean, Michael Jackson alone made MTV because music videos weren't quite a thing until he like did the full thing with Thriller.
Yeah.
Thriller?
Yeah. Was the first modern.
That was like a full-on movie actually, but that wasn't just groundbreaking in like the visual aspect to music.
Yeah, and what we do with music videos.
It's all over now. Like everybody does music videos, and even if like the short little, I don't know how it's called because that's not the thing I do with my band, but we call it banner, I think.
Banner?
On Spotify, this like 6-second film that you can see if you like would look at the app.
Yeah.
I'll have to check
commercial.
What you call it. No, but like if I were to just like look up any song on Spotify right now, it's like a 6-second video playing instead of just showing the album art.
Oh, a snippet or a.
I don't know. They have a name for it.
Yeah.
I'll get you that after this. But like, so there is a visual aspect to the art of music nowadays, and Michael Jackson is a very, very big reason that happened.
He set a example for sure.
Yeah.
Can you share a response from someone to your work that made a lasting impression on you?
I could just say no because that would be an answer to the question.
I think I already know one that you told me about.
Which is?
The picture from your mom. Yeah, that your mom, that she was looking at you while you made a picture of her while she's standing in the crowd looking at you.
Oh, so, yes. Yeah, that's not quite an origin on my art form, but more on my like professional life. Okay. Which is an extension of art form. Yeah, I was working at a festival. I got called in super last minute.
Yeah.
To run for the house, and I was very clean at this point. This is, I think, like 8 years ago or whatever. I didn't have much experience yet, and I suddenly had to like mix a show for 18K people.
Yeah.
But my mom had tickets to that festival, and so which was just a coincidence. But then she showed up to front of house. She saw me at work, and I think she spent her entirety of the show just looking at me and not at the stage at all. I don't think she's seen any of the artists. She just looked at me the entire time.
That's so cool.
And yeah, to go a bit more into depth, like she left me a letter after she passed away, and that stated that moment that it was a point of pride for her to see me be able to do what I do, like as a profession, like and earning enough just to like make a living out of it.
Fuck man, that even hits me. It's not my mom. That's really a cool story.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me of
that. Yeah, I thought to myself.
I hate that I kind of forgot about that.
I think it's a very human thing. I just popped into my head.
I literally have like the photo just in my favorites over here. I probably don't have to look for long. Yes, it's the very first in favorites.
I'm gonna walk to the screen next, if that's okay.
It's just very ghetto. Show my phone screen.
In the ghetto, but it's cool though. Really cool. Hey, just everybody go at this guy and ask him for the picture.
At Imro Sellink on Instagram.
And Imro Sellink.
It's listed below.
Do it via Wallflower and give them a like while you're at it.
Yes, get us 7 more likes and we'll be good.
Name a good unknown gem. Which artist is the most underrated and should have more attention than they are getting right now?
The Wonder Years.
They're getting attention, right?
They do, yes. But to me, like not as much as I'd expect, but
an unknown gem. Like
I think I'm just gonna shout out the homies. Check out Reformist. Check out Trump and Dolly. Oh shit! Now I gotta do them all right. My buddy Dylan, who's an Ivy Fox, they do really good.
Yeah, sure do. Yeah, Especially since he's in the band.
Is it okay if I like list a bunch later and put those?
Sure, just send it. I'll put it in the description for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of like bands and acts in the Netherlands which are super good. Like we need to cross the border with a bunch of them.
I am gonna call you up for this. So
yes, okay,
cool. What matters more to you, lyrics or music?
Oh, this question was on a previous episode, and I'd still say music, although I'm so very much into lyrics. But like, I think it just goes so hand in hand. Like your story to tell could very much be a lyric, but then like you can either like elevate a lyric by the music behind it, or I mean, the song I Got the Tattoo From has some lyrics which are really good, but then like the entire bridge is just instrumental. But that tells to me like the big part of the story is the fact that there's no lyrics over there. It's an intentional emptiness, I think.
Cool.
So I don't know. They go hand in hand. You can elevate a good lyric by music. You could take it down as well, by the way. But
oh yeah, there's many examples. There's many examples of that actually. Wow. Yeah. Hey, the power's going fast now.
Yes, we're in a roll.
We're in a roll. It's getting comfy. How do you feel the musical and artistic scene today has much changed for you over time?
A very, very big change was COVID. It's more like in my profession, I noticed how work is different than it was. And like in music, to refer back to our approach with Make Music, it's literally on a laptop. You don't have to go to studios and spend 1,000 or like 20K earlier.
Yeah,
that's madness.
Yeah, but we're only talking about 20 years ago.
Sure.
That you had no other option if you wanted to have
but 20K 20 years ago to nothing nowadays.
Yeah.
Is insane.
Yeah, but on the other hand, we also gave in a lot of artistical freedom that we used to have before internet was such a big thing as musicians.
The thing I would love to have, like we point about our music a lot, and shout out to my guitar player Jelle. Actually, I was very amused. We were having a song just about being finalized. I think we're like putting the finishing touches on it. And he texted, I don't hear anything weird, which is good. Because he would always hear something, point it out, and we like, what? You hear what? Yeah, there's like this weird clicky thing in the background, or like he heard just like one single guitar note in a riff conflicting with, I think it was a bass synthesizer note that was not supposed to be there, but was so inaudible to the rest of us.
Insignificant, yeah.
Jan really had to go in there, like solo everything. Like, do you hear it now? No. Do you hear it now? Just really like, all right. So it is in this layer of 17 guitar tracks. All right, that's fine.
And sure enough.
I think I would love to just go into the studio, record, and at some point be like, it's either going to be another 1,000 euros or it's done. Oh, yeah, it's done. It's cool. Just, you can, it's a deep rabbit hole you could jump into. I mean, it's an opportunity for sure, but maybe just getting it over with would be nice sometimes.
You always have that one person in the band that. And did you ever see the movie Rain Man?
I have not.
It's about a guy who has an autistic brother, and he's the type of guy that if you drop.
Could be about my brother.
Could be about mine too. But anyway,
I'm not diagnosed, so
he could drop a box of matches, and his brother would say how many matches were in the box that he dropped.
Oh, okay.
Like there's always this one guy in the band, like when you're mixing, he's like, what you're saying, like over there and that in that layer, there's this one sound, and you're always puzzled, like how the hell did you hear that?
I think we've got a real good thing going on in terms of that. Like, so usually there are exceptions, but usually it starts out with Jan providing like a demo. This could either be that he like records something on his day off and sends us whatever he's got cooking, or it's literally just him acoustic guitar singing and like playing it out. Then he brings it to the rehearsal studio, and we change everything.
Yeah.
No, so he puts on, I think, like a bass, and like I don't think like the chord progressions do change, but like whenever it's a demo, he MIDI programs some drums like placeholder. I take the vibe and then do my own thing. I think Ruben on bass, he's kind of, he is not, but like he kind of got to stick to root notes for a bit, but then like the extra sauce, like he'll just come with himself, and we could like be arguing about like, hey, maybe let's do the chorus twice, or like maybe so we do a pre-chorus on the first chorus, but maybe let's not do that the second time around. Like, and we try everything. We do not make a decision until we've heard it, and until we've played it good as well. Like, you could like, let's try to go to this chord or whatever, and do it differently. And then if we play it and we suck, we look, this sounded terrible. Yeah, it's because we suck. Let's do it again. And that's kind of how we all like throw in our ideas. We take the ideas we like, and it's usually just a pick by majority.
And it's learning out of making mouths, right? I mean...
Oh, no, we've learned that apparently we have 4 tricks and we use them all the time. So made songwriting much easier. Can I do something different? No. Okay.
That's surprisingly honest. You could just sit there and say, yeah, absolutely, we make a lot of mouths.
Yeah.
No, we just do the same 4 tricks every time.
I think we've had the situation so often where we're like, let's try this. Oh, Joseph. And then we try one. I like this the best. Yeah, me too. Oh wait, it's the same as that other song we've got. Do we mind?
We're getting a good pace. Ozzy, Dio, or Lemmy?
Excuse me?
Ozzy, Dio, or Lemmy?
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Right. I would say Ozzy Osbourne just because I'm less familiar with the other ones. I've never been into Motorhead much.
Okay.
Admittedly, Lemmy is a legend, and
just not your legend.
All music I like is like, it was my own journey. Like, I think, was it Fake maybe, who's like pointed out a bunch of bands that his dad listened to, like in the car. Like, I ain't got nothing like that.
Okay.
I've got 99 Luke Balloon by Nena, and I Was Modern Clown by whatever his name is.
Yeah. And my
dad, well, the first ones were rough. Like, eventually my dad got a car that has CD changer with 6 CDs. So we get those 6 CDs throughout the entire trip. Uh-huh. Because once we drove out of the country and the radio started going down, then we were put on the CDs. But I don't know, if you've heard Don't Cry from Argentina for 4 times and you're still not in Croatia.
Hard.
I can joke about my dad's taste in music a lot. So, but
that means that
none of those 3. I learned about those people relatively late. Like, I think I was like in my 20s until I like heard my first Black Sabbath song. And I've played some Black Sabbath on my guitar before, and I think it was the Ozzy era. So, and Dio replaced him.
He did, yeah.
He upset people now.
He was also a big musician in his own right, but
although Dio was in The Pick of Destiny.
Yeah, he was.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's. People are going to be so upset with me saying that. That's how I know Dio.
And to be honest, the first time I heard about Dio was the same thing. Yeah, and I heard that the only reason Dio was in it because Ozzy didn't want to. But I learned to respect Dio very much ever because that was the first stepping stone. So we can shake hands on that.
I'm not super familiar with any of their work. Like, I could name you probably one Motorhead song, and I could probably name you one Dio song, but I could name you like 3 Black Sabbath songs.
Okay, so that says enough.
So,
yeah.
Yes.
Fair enough. Are you able to enjoy classical music?
Yes, very much so.
And could you enjoy that if it comes on the radio, or could you name classical music that you enjoy?
Are we going to talk about the Pick of Destiny again?
That's Mozart, isn't it?
Is it like Mozart's fifth or not?
I think it's the melody of a Mozart song.
Yeah, could very well be, and could be Bach as well, but I think it's Mozart as well.
Yeah.
I'm not super sure. Well, I mean, earlier the question with Bowie, Jackson, or Prince,
Yeah.
like how they all had their footprint and made a mark and like did something for music. It all started there, didn't it?
From this side of the world, yes.
I mean, obviously, but I could enjoy like some sitar music from the whatever century as well. Like,
Yeah.
it all started somewhere, and I think you need to like respect the roots.
I think they basically the assumption is that modern music, how we know it now, was when classical music and slave music from America hit each other, and that's where rock and roll started, and jazz. And
that's an interesting take.
But there's the metal guide around the globe, Sam. I forgot his name. His first name is Sam, but he made it, and he made a documentary about he's trying to figure out where music came from, and that was basically his assumption.
I think that every bit of music has made an impact. Like, I couldn't point it out, but like the Motown era did something for music.
For sure.
Like, I don't know if it's in my music, but it could very well be.
Yeah.
I listen to Michael Jackson's Bad a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe one of my drum beats is kind of similar to what is happening on that record.
Yeah, and imagine that we're listening to radio for
talking about classical music.
Yeah.
Just talking about the theory of Western music. Let's keep it simple for now.
Yeah.
It's only 7 or 8 notes, and then got some semis. There's like 12 of them. You can go along, and then it starts over again. Like, so I think there was this theory that every chord progression has been written already.
Yeah.
Because there aren't just many options.
Yeah, it has limits. Yeah.
I mean, and that's just like sticking it to like major chords or whatever, and like you've got all those whatever weird shapes and just suspend or your add or your whatever. I don't know music theory. I know these words.
Yeah.
I just play drums. I don't know.
Somebody told me.
Yeah. My friend who gets. Well, no. So, I'm not sure if this is true, but I feel like those people maybe even had to like kind of like figure out what music even is.
Yeah, like imagine if there's nobody before you. Yeah, and the Mozart was 5 when he made his first. It's his first arrangement, so not just a play on the piano. I think that's about the time
I started pooping my pants.
Stopped, yeah, basically. Yeah, it started pooping my pants. I think it's about time now.
I wasn't late.
Still shitting my pants. Wow, you have a lot of multiple choice. Salvador Dali, Andy Warhol, or Banksy?
I could not answer you this question.
You don't know any of them?
I know their names.
Yeah. You know what they all are?
Roughly, yeah. Again, Dali.
Salvador Dali, Andy Warhol, or Banksy?
I feel like Salvador Dali is like the oldest out of the 3. The other 2 are kind of modern. So I think the other 2 wouldn't even exist without the first one. People who do like art are gonna fucking shoot me.
No. So you would admit that you're not an expert on this?
I know the Banksy story, and that's really amusing to me.
He's hilarious.
I mean, even though what is art? I think there's this book, and it's in Dutch. I'm not sure if this even is a true story, but I think there's a book called like Is dit kunst of mag het weg?
Yeah.
It's this art of can we get rid of it?
Yeah.
Like I could make a picture of a pile of trash and put it in a museum, and people would be like, oh, yeah. You can feel like anything could be art.
Yeah.
Like I think art is art is primarily like an expression of the artist.
Yeah.
But art becomes something else when it's looked at, listened to. Like I make the songs I make are just like, hey, this is what I like, this is what I do, this. But then like you don't know how people are gonna resonate with it. Like even let's talk about Cigarettes and Saints again. The story being told is nowhere near the story I related to. I resonate differently with it just because there's like certain
Yeah.
subtitle, it will be fine.
Maybe overlappings.
Overlapping, yeah, whatever. Because I mean, like one lyric in that song is, "I bet you're bombing cigarettes off Saints." My mom didn't smoke, but still, I like relate that song to her. But it's just, I probably like the pain is relating, like his pain and my pain are maybe like the same. Could very well be different because I don't know how they intended this song to like. It's just how I see that song is how I interpret it. How they are probably supposed to. No,
I get it. Like
art changes once it leaves the artist and gets to the people.
And anybody can choose whatever angle they want to relate to with your music. Or
totally
cool. That's also what you were saying before in the beginning. I like it when people challenge that every now and then. I think it wasn't that long ago when I saw somebody who simply bought one of those pre-made things from IKEA. Like when you buy a photo frame and there's just random IKEA art in it. Oh, yeah. And somebody bought that one and took it to a high level
to an art gallery or whatever.
And he just hanged it there, and he would ask like all the millionaires coming in, and he would the so-called art knowers, and he would like specialists and ask them like, how much do you think this is worth? And it was literally this €10 thing, and this guy was standing there. Well, it looks like a little bit like a random French guy. And he said, "Oh, this must be at least 200,000 because this and that and blah blah blah." And then afterwards they would tell, "Yeah, it's from IKEA," and the faces that they would make, like shit.
But then again, if he wants to pay 200,
hey, by all means, go for it, dude.
Yeah, man, I could buy you a bunch more if you want.
Do social media and other modern technology play a role in your art, and if so, what kind?
Unfortunately, yes.
Do you find it unfortunate?
We totally suck at sustaining social media, but it is, I think, the one way to get yourself out there. Like people are going to be watching this, and you've already asked them to follow @WallflowerBand on Instagram. Check out our music.
I repeat, @Wallflower Band.
Yeah, it's going to be listed below as well. I'm going to challenge Harvey to like edit it in right here.
right here at this moment.
He's not going to do it.
From my cheek to his cheek.
Or we'll just do a cut and we'll just like wait for a minute and it's going to go.
It goes very Windows 95.
I love challenging you how to edit.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna suck anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, I love it. No, so just to get your stuff to people, like I've been to the US recently. I've just been handing out stickers to people. Like, hey, check out my band. And it's like Amsterdam, pop punk. Yeah.
And did you get
that gets the conversation started, and then I see some people that repost like, hey, I really love this song, and then they resonate with it for whatever reason, of whatever angle.
Yeah. I
wouldn't have known that would happen. Like, we're just putting it out, I don't know. We're just putting it out. So yeah, what was the question again?
If you work with social media.
Yeah, so social media is a very, very easy and handy tool to reach people. And I feel like being in a band nowadays is social media first, making music second. And I try to make music first. And I think that's why we have 3 shows in our 5 years of existence. Because we do not reach the people to like show our music, and we do not reach the people who are going to say like, hey, I really like this. Do you want to perform on this festival or on this stage or whatever?
Yeah.
Because that just takes an whole other. I mean, it's not like it's our own fault. Like we could be reaching out to people as well, but busy lives. I'm the youngest, and I'm 30, so.
So yeah. So yeah.
Awkward silence. Yes. No, social media is nowadays such a big part, and I think there's even like a bunch of artists you could name that got famous on social media.
Yeah, who did nothing more than being on social media, even sometimes.
Well, no, I mean, there's talent, obviously. You need talent
but not always. I mean, there's also examples of people who have...
Yeah, you might want to bleep it out, but I think like Hawk2A girl. She said one funny thing.
Yeah.
And now she's dating Jake Paul, I think.
Yeah, and she's living in a big mansion and
she's going to do a podcast and they're going to name it Talk2A. And I think that's really clever.
I didn't even know that.
Shout out to, what's her name? Haley Welsh.
I had no idea what her name was, but...
I do.
Of course you do.
I mean, you can be fortunate with social media as well, I guess.
Well, I'm going to give you a hand because you won the game. This is the second question.
Am I the first one to win?
No, Thomas also.
The very first episode, right?
The very first. He's yet to pick a record, though, so Thomas, you might want to, I don't know.
No.
What was the first record you bought with your own money? You can also name the first single or first album separately, if this is relevant. So also any medium, so for some younger players, like buying a record wasn't that much of a...
The first one I bought is an answer I could not tell you. I know, I'm thinking vinyls over here because I don't think I've purchased a lot of physical music.
Could be a CD too.
Oh, I've had CDs before. So just in terms of vinyl, I mainly inherited my mom's collection, and then I added some stuff. And I think the first vinyl I bought was just something at a flea market. And I don't know, it might be that Elvis' Greatest Hits collection, but it was a bunch at once, and they're just there. Like, it was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be into vinyl now.
Might as well buy this.
Bought a few and...
But no CDs before that? Never with your little wallet?
I know that up until a point I owned every CD by the Untitled.
Okay. Up
until I think my mom, like their 5th album.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I think I got some as a gift, so I didn't buy those. I know I got like a double CD with 2 albums from Blue for my Valentine, but it was a gift as well. I haven't bought a lot of music in my life, I think. Which, to be fair, if you're in a position, buy something off the artist, because it's the best way to be supporting them in what they do.
Yeah.
I buy a lot of t-shirts because, I wear t-shirts.
The 1 years.
Daily.
Yeah.
I think I literally own 14 t-shirts from the 1 years alone.
Also, but you like to wear, but also for supporting.
Yeah, I bought some vinyls, and I bought REFRENCE's poetry book, and just anything I can do, obviously there's something in it for me because I get merchandise, I get t-shirts that I can wear, and I have vinyls that look very cool in the cabinet. No, but I play them. I play them as well. I go to the shows this. I could relatively easily be on a guest list for shows at many points, but I choose to buy a ticket if it's not sold out or whatever, just because that would mean me supporting the industry.
Solidarity with
yeah. I've been on guest lists before, but that's more if it's sold out and I have it in whatever and I want to go to the show, I'll make something that I have. But I usually prefer to buy my concert ticket because I want to be supporting the music industry, because the music industry is supporting me.
Yeah.
Because I work in the music industry.
Okay.
So I'm paying my own bills, basically. My own.
Yeah. It will find its way back to you at some point.
Yes.
Which music video has made the biggest impression on you?
Should I say Michael Jackson's Thriller? Just because that pops to mind right now. I'm gonna go with the 1 Years again. They have a song called Cardinals. Fun fact about that song is that it basically does not have a song structure. It just begins and it ends.
Mm-hmm.
And you should check out the music video. It's like there's so many questions after you've seen it. And this song is maybe like 2016, so it's like 8 years old.
Yeah.
I still don't know the answers. But it's so cinematic. It's basically the lead singer is carrying a guy and running. And you have like a point of view of him, a straight point of view of him. And he's like running towards the camera, but the camera's moving with him. And he's soaking wet. And they're like in a suburb, like just the street, and like people are mowing the lawn and stuff happening. And then it is in slow motion as well, by the way.
Yeah. And
the camera kind of like turns slowly, and at some point you see the band members like playing tennis, I think, something like that. They're there as well. And then at kind of the end, you learn that he is chasing an ambulance, and there's like a paramedic, like, but they're driving away from him.
Okay.
Just put the link in there. Check it out.
I'll put the Cardinals.
Cardinals by the Wanderers.
Okay. Cardinals by the Wanderers. We are reaching the very last question.
We've done that fast. No, we've not.
No, I don't think we.
I don't want to see the number on there or the pop-up that says storage full.
No, I make sure that's not happening. I make sure that's not happening. No, that we could sit here for quite some time. What skill would you like to master?
Social media.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, no, honestly, like, I'm pretty content with the skills I have, and I mean, I would have loved to play the piano maybe, but I think I could learn. Like, I just gotta set my mind to it. Now, like I said, social media is such a big part of portraying your art. In my case, music. Just be better at it to like reach people, and just be better at getting gigs to play. Anyone out there, look us up at Wallflower Band.
Hit your boy up, man.
All we need is gas money. Not even, by the way. Just not.
It's the philosophy of doing everything for no money, right?
It's a tricky thing because, you know, I work in music industry as well. Like, for me to play a show, mainly on Saturday night, right? It would not only mean that I would have to like make the expenses of going to wherever the show is going to be at. It also means I am not working that day, and I do this work freelance. So I'm also like losing income. So that made me rather picky with what type of shows we would want to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've all been in bands before, you know some of them, their bands as well. We've all played those shitty garage shows, those cafes that
free people at a bar.
Be hosting bands at all. Actually, my ears are bleeding because there's a drummer over there. He's not even playing that loud, but and I do play loud, so. No, so I think we might be too picky, but I think we kind of got over that as well, because life's too short to not do the things you love. So try to do that as much as possible. And playing shows would be one of them. I could earn the skill of being a good promoter for my own band.
That would be
social media or the other way around. That would be a skill I would love.
So promoting skills would be cool. Okay. Cool. That's a cool note to stop. We have one more tradition. This is the part in the show where you can talk about anything you want to. Is there anything you want to do a shout out about, or is there any random thing you want to get over? Hit me.
Yeah, it's for me, bro. So I have this.
Yeah.
Shout out who you want to shout out.
I have to shout out people.
I think I've been through a lot already. Things pop in my mind, things I said already.
Okay, so one more time.
Buy merch of bands. That's the way you can support them.
For sure.
Do the things you love because life is short.
One more time. Yeah, should I? Yeah.
Break the rules, by the way. That wasn't a question.
No, it wasn't a question. It's who should I shout out? Wallflower for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Wallflower for sure. I think I'm just, for the fuck of it, gonna put the same link of Wallflower 5 times. But before you can click and it opens the rest of it, so you will have to. Who should we shout out? I think at least we should shout out people we both know and we both appreciate.
I've already done like Taking Gavin with Performance. Oh, Menacer, obviously.
Menacer, yeah.
And then Drunken Dolly.
They are so good, and they're doing better and better over time. We already gave a shout out to the Bar 3 Huiskamer.
Oh, yes. Beers.
And the best
I tried a lot of them, they were all good.
They were all good. Yeah, actually, when it comes to that, our world is quite small, right? We operate within that, and that's basically
Shout out to Alyssa for getting us our awesome tattoos yesterday.
Yes. we will talk to her later on, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But at this point, from my experience, I can tell you, just go sit down in that chair and... I think we went through the first 3 questions, was 1 hour, and then we went through the rest in 2 minutes. So stuff will come to mind. You'll figure it out. Yeah, so
it's my because this is the 4th conversation I did. In my experience, the first questions, it's still a little bit formal, and at one point it just loses it. It just breaks the ice. At one point, it's as if you're just sitting at a bar and just randomly.
And I mean, some of the questions are maybe a bit tougher, not relatable. What was it again, Dali, Warhol, or
Banksy?
Yeah. I mean, I can't even figure out his name. But yeah, I'm still so glad that you reminded me of that story about my mom. Watched me instead of the show she paid to take a photo.
Yeah, it's just, but you told me about it in the first place, but it just popped in my mind. Oh, one more shout out, Turkije. Because Turkije in the rain, absolutely. Hey, on that note, I think we're good. You ready getting up? Okay. I wanna
watch the mic.
Yeah, with the mic. I really want to thank you. So if you want to hug me and you're an artist in any way, please let me know and hit me up at Harvey Sengers Music on Instagram or harveyasadream@gmail.com.
The one most important shout out we're forgetting right now.
Oh,
shout out Harvey.
It's here. Thank you. It's here in big letters, so I'm shouting myself out the entire way.
Super awesome roll up banner you got.
Oh, thank you so much.
I really admire the quality of it.
Oh, thank you. I love a sarcasm sandwich. So, well, see you next time. See you next time.